So believe it or not, now is the easiest time in history to make money and create financial freedom. Back in 2010, there were roughly 24 million people globally that had at least $1 million. Just about 12 years later, 56 million people now have over $1 million or more in cash and assets. What's even crazier is that 72.5% of all millionaires globally are self-made, and they don't come from any type of wealth or additional inheritance. So if you think you can't have financial freedom, or you're able to create generational wealth because you weren't born into it, if we take a look at the statistics and see that millions of people who have been in your shoes were able to do it, your time is coming up and it's gonna be possible to do it soon as well. So in today's video, what we're gonna do is uncover the real reason why making $1 million is easier than it has ever before in all of history, and how you can get started today on your journey. All right, so to kick this video off, I want to briefly start about my own story and the journey of me being able to become a self-made millionaire. So I myself is a son of Korean immigrant parents. I've been bullied. I was a bad student. I was not financially free. And growing up, I was always worried about money. All the countless amount of stories that I've gone through, one of the ones that I wanted to share with you guys was in me going to work with my dad. So back in the day, I used to go to work with my dad, and one of the jobs that he had for pretty much 20, 30 years of his life was doing hardwood floors. This entailed ripping out carpet, laying down the foundation, putting in these giant heavy hardwood floors, and then hammering it all in and spending countless hours doing that. This is where I would see firsthand his intense labor that he had to put into the work that he was doing, hours upon hours of physical pain, and I would be helping out as his helper, where I'd be cleaning it up, prepping the wood so that he could actually execute and then put it on the floor. And there were times where I was working on my hands and knees and I was so tired I would have to take a nap on the cardboard boxes of the wood that it came out of. I remember so badly that it wasn't fair. I wish I came from a better family. I wish I didn't have to work that hard, and I wish I didn't have to see my loved ones suffer. I just felt so frustrated in being born the way I was. So financial freedom is a term that is pretty different when it comes to many people. To me, financial freedom was everything. It was happiness, it was security, it was a way for my parents to stress less and ultimately to have better health. I had to ask myself the question, what can I do in this lifetime in order to create generational wealth? I think for anyone, when you have a vision, when you have a dream, whether you have kids, you have parents, or even for yourself, you just don't want to be looked down on by other people, or you grew up in a way that you just weren't content, this will fuel you and give you the motivation in order to create those businesses and the opportunities for yourself. Now, out of all the benefits of creating wealth and making money, because who doesn't like making money? For me, the inherent driver since the beginning was because I was so sick of being stressed, and I wanted to create a way for me to alleviate that and to be able to support people out of the pain that I felt growing up. So the biggest lesson to note here is, if anyone could relate to that story, that right now, today is the easiest time ever before in history to make money, to get rich, and to also create your own version of financial freedom for yourself. Just the fact that you guys are a subscriber of this channel, you guys are watching content on being able to educate yourself with regards to the crypto market, or even watching a video on how you can create financial wealth for yourself, you are doing much more now than 99% of the entire population is. It's actually a very small fraction of people that actively try to do something to better their life, and it's an even smaller percentage of people within that go ahead and take action after they hear some tips like this. So why is today the easiest time in history to make money, get rich, and create your own financial freedom? So the use of the internet in being able to create new businesses just out of thin air with a click of a button has made this more effortless and easier than ever before. The internet, something that we take so much for granted every single day, has introduced new proven business models where you can practically replicate the process of other successful internet entrepreneurs, and you have a pathway of being able to market to the entire world. Now, in today's day of age, there are more than ever so many different ways that you can make money. Some of these personally I have done, which include e-commerce, affiliate marketing. I've done Amazon FBA back in the day. Being able to make money is as simple as this. It's being able to solve a problem. That's all I focused on back in the day, and it was never about trying to scam others or find a way to cheat cheat others. I believe you can make more money by doing good. I believe you don't have to do that and live with, staying up late at night because of the choices that you weren't proud of. Most of this didn't exist until the late 1990s and going into the early 2000s. The internet has now given entrepreneurs unlimited reach and bandwidth to have customers and audiences from all around the world instead of just your local city or town. Because we know the internet is bountiful and the opportunities to market exist, education resources are free and more accessible now than ever. To create a successful business, what I went through was a lot of trial and error, but I learned a lot through the internet. If you want to learn how to become an expert photographer, you can find that on YouTube for free. If you want to become a writer and start making six figures while being in bed, you can find the skills to do that. In today's world, you can self-learn just about anything you need to become financially successful. There may have been a more compelling argument, maybe before the day of age we're living in now, where you needed to go to college to learn these skills, but all you need now is a computer and an internet connection. So whether you're a millennial or any younger generation, or you might even be older, just understand that we have so much information here available to us for free at our fingertips, and we shouldn't take it for granted. Investment opportunities in today's economies has become one of the greatest ways of creating wealth as well. You can do this on top of your own 9-to-5 job without having to take any type of risk, and you can still find yourself making long-term wealth for yourself and your loved ones. Diving a bit more specifically into crypto, I can say this: crypto has created an entirely new marketplace that didn't exist 10, 15 years ago. We are still so early in its adoption, and its potential for this technology has been completely unmatched. Within a bear market, people often forget how easy it is to make money when the market picks back up and rallies. And it's not unusual to see, even within the crypto markets, to see a 2x, a 5x, or a 10x on your investment. This means if you're just getting started and you only have $1,000 in your bank account, you decide to YOLO all of your chips into the market and you get a 5x. It would not be bad at all to be able to see that amount turning into $5,000 and then using that towards your next venture. The volatility of certain investments can be scary, even with crypto where most people are underwater, but this is something where it is created to help you make wealth over time. Right now, we also have the most data and research on investments than ever before. We know that no matter how badly the market crashes, it will always rebound, and we have decades upon decades of information, data, and past historical trends in order for us to gauge what may happen in the future. An example of this is if you invested in real estate at all-time highs in 2007, right before the housing market crash, you would still be very profitable today, even if you just held onto that property or land. Historically, bull markets often follow bear markets, and the data is also even showing that bear markets are getting shorter and shorter while bull markets have been expanding in growth during its time. Now, on top of that, the biggest eye-opener is this: there has never been so much money floating around in today's market. So 40% of the US circulating dollar was printed back in 2020. If you guys don't understand just how crazy that is, let me repeat it here. If you add up all of the money the US has ever printed, over 40% of it was printed in just the year of 2020 alone. With all this money being printed, the question is, well, where is it going? It's obviously not going into crypto or the stock markets. Well, the money flew to the business owners. It flew to the top 1% of people who know how to make money, who have businesses, who have real estate, who understand systems. While many people during the pandemic were so excited over their stimulus check and still living dollar to dollar, not really changing their entire lifestyle, many other millionaires and billionaires got richer during and after the pandemic because they had systems in place that naturally brought in more business with the increase in money supply. It really isn't difficult when we're talking about creating generational wealth. It's actually pretty logical, and yet we see so many news articles bashing entrepreneurs and business owners that they got rich during the pandemic and that was a bad thing. I always thought that the rich and business owners and millionaires and billionaires were in a class of their own. It's like, okay, they do their thing, or that guy's a YouTuber, I'll never be able to do that. If my very average self was able to do this and have this type of upcoming, if you guys think you can't be a millionaire, you are so sadly mistaken. Believe it or not, you don't even need to bring in tons of money. You don't even have to make six figures in order to become a millionaire at the end of your life. If we take the median household of US income, say, is around $60,000 right now. So right now I got my big calculator. We take this, $1 million divided by 60 grand. Okay, so that's even 16.6 years. This means that if you're making just a medium income salary within the US, you're at least able to bring in $60,000 every single year for 16 years. You'll come to $1 million. Now, I do understand that there's taxes, there's expenses, there's food costs, there's family costs. So this number is based solely on revenue and not gross profit over time. But even with that being said, most people end up getting married or they have another spouse. And even with that point, if you're able to double that income, you're cutting that time down in half. Most assets that people end up having to buy just become homes, cars, and for most majority, at least for homes, they hold and have been going up in value. And even with vehicles, depending on what you buy, some of those retain value and even just take a smaller depreciation hit. The point I'm trying to make is you don't need to be making millions of dollars in order to become a millionaire. You can still do this on your own timeline. And just by investing conservatively and being smart with your money, you will become a millionaire in this lifetime before it's over. So now that we covered why it's the easiest time to make money, let's go over why now is the best time to create wealth and why you shouldn't sleep on the unique opportunities that we're in right now. So the increase in the money supply from the past couple of years has already affected us with extreme inflation that we haven't seen in the last 40 years. The Federal Reserve is actively trying to control inflation, but we need to work with the hand we got dealt with and hope for the best while preparing for the worst. So the worst case scenario is that inflation continues to increase, and the second worst case would be if inflation remained the same and refused to decrease. What this means for you is that the cost of living will continue to rise throughout our lifetime, and this means that it will become more and more expensive in order to pay our wealth and to generate that financial freedom. We'll see this in the gas we pay, the food costs that we have, and even the bills just starting to increase in price. To make matters worse, wages have not kept up with the cost of living in recent decades, and wage growth has barely budged for Americans towards the bottom of the economic pyramid. This here is what we call income inequality, and it is 100% real. Now, you have one population of people who understand that wealth inequality exists, so what they do is they accept it and they don't do anything about it. They go for food stamps and they realize, if I have to live this way and just scrape by, this is the way life is. But then you also have millions of individuals worldwide that have figured out the best way to fight income inequality, and this is by becoming self-employed entrepreneurs or just taking up additional side hustles or even investing into the market. This here simply is just putting financial stability back into your own hands and taking that action. Now, what makes this time in our life so unique and special is just the fact that we are going through what many people see as a recession. A recession is when assets don't tend to go up. They actually go more farther down, and it's usually where other businesses and companies are going to get put to the test. Will they be around? Will they get wiped out? If they can survive this, or if you can get birthed in a time of a recession period, you'll know that you have far greater chances than if you were actually starting a business during a peak of a bull market where we had all this financial stimulus coming in and you aren't sure if this business will be sustainable. The best ways to get started today is by maximizing your opportunity and not letting the fears of the market get into you, but taking advantage of it, taking that step forward and learning the skills in order to monetize yourself and build something new. So for me, this results in many things: in starting an Amazon FBA business, having my own e-commerce shop, having a digital marketing agency. Even though I was not able to make nearly as much money as I've been making recently, I learned so much from that. So the skills and being able to start something for yourself and wearing all these different hats in the beginning allow you to learn the skills and give you the natural ability and resilience and knowledge and wisdom in order to translate into the next venture that could be successful for you. Most people go into the business world hoping that the first thing that they try out is going to be successful, and that was not the case for me. As much as I've had in successes, let me tell you, I have a lot of failures that people don't see. So if you're watching this video, ask yourself this: what is something that you love to do? What is something that you are passionate about? What is something that you're good at doing naturally? And what do you just enjoy on a day-to-day basis? Find what you love doing, and if that's something hard to discover, do more things. Go out more to see what you enjoy. Some people just like drinking and hanging out with friends, and let me tell you, there are businesses where you can still even monetize that trait. You can be a marketer, you can go out, you can have conversations with other people, you can network with others, and all of these skills or things that you do on a day-to-day basis can be monetized and turned into an actual business. Now, it sounds very existential, but I will say, when you're able to raise the value of yourself in this world, or you're able to solve problems through a unique solution that you can offer, that is where you are able to create wealth. Because at the end of the day, creating money for yourself is all about about how much value you provide to this world. For me, I also read a lot of books, and what helped me in the beginning, my favorite book, I took notes. I remember I would read just 1 or 2 pages a day because of how much I enjoyed the book and I never wanted to end. This is actually Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then there are a ton of other books like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, even 4-Hour Work Week. Now say becoming an entrepreneur or quitting your job is just a little too much, because I can tell you how terrifying and scary it is, especially when you have other responsibilities. Find the right job. Find a job where you can scale your income, where it might be a little bit more incentivized, where you know you have an opportunity to grow. If you're currently at a bottom level for your position, is there an opportunity that one day you could become a general manager? Could you be a C-leader executive? Could you be someone higher up and have a room to grow in providing that value so you can also increase that income? As an entrepreneur, you don't get exposed to pay raises, promotions, bonuses, free company trips, fun party travel stuff that 9-to-5 people tend to do. As an entrepreneur, you see a lot of the success stories, but a majority of them actually fail. A majority of them live a very tough life. Whether you're in a 9-to-5 or you're an entrepreneur with your own business, what I can tell you is this: if you're investing, this applies to anyone, regardless of what occupation you're in. When it comes to investing, while it's not the quickest, most consistent way of generating wealth, it is a proven way to turn your salary, wage, or any income you're getting into life-changing money over the long term. If you're new to investing or you don't know where to get started, don't be intimidated, because just like any other skills, these are things that you can learn. And right now, with all the apps that are available, this is so accessible and easy to get started more than ever. An example is back in the day, if you wanted to invest into the stock market, if you ever watched Wolf of Wall Street and you had to submit the pink sheet and you had to make a phone call and you go through that. Right now, we have a phone and you just pull up an app that is easy to use, beginner friendly. You hook up your bank account to it and you're started right there. The biggest lesson here is the earlier you start, the better you're going to be off in the long term. And it's better to invest when the markets are down rather than when you're at the next peak, because everything moves in cycles and you don't want to go through the next bear market after buying at the top. So to just wrap this up, I want to talk about some core habits that I've implemented in my life to improve my odds of success as much as possible. So have something like a vision board, or even on your phone, you can change your wallpaper into some of the things you want in your life. Maybe you want a new house. Maybe you have a new relationship you want, or you have a new dream vehicle you want, or you have this dream office building or dream vacation you want to take. Have these goals. It's okay whether it's big or huge, or even if it's a little tiny goal that you think isn't too relevant to others. For me, what I did was I wanted $100,000 in my checking account. I just want $100,000 cash when I was 21, 22 years old. And what I did was I went on Google and I typed in $100,000 in a checking account, and I screenshotted the first one in there, and I printed that out on a piece of paper and I taped it right above my bed. Well, let me tell you, I achieved that goal pretty quick after doing that. And I don't know if there's a correlation or causation between this, but it has personally helped me a lot, just being able to see my goals, being reminded upon it all the time. And it really forced me and reminded me exactly what I was working towards. On top of that, setting goals just provide a lot more direction. You get clear focus on what's important. And on top of that, it does give you the motivation to push on. Now, one of the things I'm so happy that I did earlier on is actually journal. I have journals filled up this high right now, like 5 or 6, even more of them since 2018, talking about where I was in my life at that time. Journaling has proven to help with mental health, help achieve your goals, and give you accountability. It inspires creativity and also strengthens your own communication and writing skill. When you find yourself journaling every single night, it helped me so much, because even now I can look back to see where I was and build upon even more moments of gratitude now that I've come to a place far exceeding my expectations. Now, as important as work is and being able to make money and all this, I will say this: exercise, eating healthy foods, and the term health is wealth is one of my most important stable guidelines that I still live to. By exercising consistently, you don't have to have like a full-on power session meet. You could just go for a walk outside. This is proven to give you more increased energy, more confidence, increase in happiness, improve your brain health and mood, literally due to the endorphins and the chemicals that come out when you do exercise, and it also reduces stress in the long term. What's the point of being able to become a millionaire and create this life-changing wealth if you're gonna look like you're 80 when you're 30 years old? What I'm trying to say is it's really important to keep yourself healthy. It's prevented me from burning out, and it's also just increased my overall gratitude and happiness for everything that I've done. On top of that, reading has been a fundamental key game changer. If you're someone like me, I actually didn't like reading early on. I could never focus on a book. If you're unable to do that, you can still find audiobooks. You can find YouTube videos that summarize books, but I believe books are really the origin of where all this invaluable information begins. And this is where you can find the mindset of someone who was successful in their business, like Andrew Carnegie or, Abraham Lincoln and what he did too. You can go back in time and literally read through the voice or the minds and live through the experiences of what some of these other successful entrepreneurs have done. Last but not least, something that I try to do on a daily basis is meditate. Sometimes when I wake up, this happened a lot earlier on in my entrepreneur days, is where I'd wake up feeling like I've lost. And that feeling for me was almost as if I'm playing defense, where I'm chasing the day and I have all these things to do. But when I take the time to just give myself 10, 15 minutes and be present, I found myself to be more on the offense for the day. Instead of trying to chase it, I knew that I was in charge of it. Meditating has shown benefits such as controlling anxiety, regulating mood, and helping you to stay focused. I shoot to do this every day. If I can't do it every day, I can find myself feeling more distracted later throughout the week. Okay guys, so this was a much longer video. If you guys did enjoy videos like this, definitely let me know down below. Hopefully you guys did find value in this. And like the usual, follow me over on Twitter and on Instagram if you guys haven't done so already. If you do follow me, please watch out for scammers there. And on top of that, if you guys want to have another sneak peek into my life and just see what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis, I do have a Discord group that you guys can join. That is linked through the Patreon, and that is also down below in the description of this video as well. Now, usually towards the end of these videos, I do a secret code word, and for that, this video is going to be truth. Comment down below truth. Don't know why I have this calculator now in my hand, but comment down below truth. I apologize for the camera dying. I'm gonna move out of the R5. I'm gonna pick up a Sony. It's like the 4th time it's happened the last 2 weeks. But thank you guys so much again for watching. Have an amazing day, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.